such an asshole.
All right, let's try not to curse on this one here, because I think this is going to help a lot of people, not just guys, as well. I think everyone's kind of facing this, especially during the great and merciful blessing the Lord and our Savior has given us. Hi, Aaron. Looking for anonymous video answer. I'm employed full-time, divorced, no kids. I work a pretty standard 40-hour work week, and everything there is going well. I don't have a lot of friends, but the ones I do have are all married, and they are seldom available to hang out or do things with. No, they choose. Okay? They all choose. Wifey may say, don't go out. I don't like that Aaron Clary fella. You go and have fun with him, and then he gets you full of drinks, and then you come back and you want to have some of the bedroom fun, and we are 42, and we don't do that anymore. We are married, darn it. Married in middle age. No fun for us. Never thought I'd be, become Eddie Haskell of the middle-aged group. The middle-aged Eddie Haskell. And I'm like, what? We're going to go for a run? Gonna get a beer? Go play some pool? Hey, Johnny, you want to go for a run and get a beer? Oh, bad influence, Aaron Eddie Haskell Clary. So just so you know, they choose. They choose that. Unless they're actually physically disabled, or their finances are absolutely horrific, but they all choose to stay at home and watch TV. Okay, it's a choice. I do have some free time on my hands, which is wonderful, but something has happened. I have lost interest in everything. Well, here's something. I took some notes because it's an important thing, but one that just came up. You mean when people are gone, it's no longer interesting? See, here's what just hear me out like this. Like when you go for a bike ride, sure, it's all right, but wouldn't you rather go for a bike ride with your buddies? And when you go to dinner, yeah, it's all right. You're eating, the food is good, but wouldn't you rather have someone there to talk to? Movies. Do you want to go to the movies by yourself? Yeah, you'd watch the movie, but you like to have somebody to go with. Male or female, doesn't matter. That's the whole point. Humans are social creatures. It's the only reason we have to live is each other. And so I don't know if you've lost interest in these things, although I think you have as well, and we'll get to that later. But also, so we diagnose this correctly, so we can treat it correctly, there certainly is a component of it that there are no people anymore. Like I used to love going ballroom dance because all my friends would show up, and then they dwindled off, moved away, and then I was like, oh, I don't need these people. So unless you have people participating with you, it's not as fun. This is why a lot of times, of course, now with the great and merciful blessing we have received, meetup groups are no longer a thing, really. But man, I used to belong to a great running group. When I'm going to go out west, I'm going to go get some hiking groups in, motorcycle groups. Hey, motorcycling, fun. It's fun. It's wonderful. A lot more fun when there's people around. You're all there. Yeah. Let's pull over here and drink because that makes sense. So keep in mind, it may not be the activities or your interests. It's just that there's no people anymore involved in it. I've lost interest in everything. I've never had this problem before. It used to be that I never had enough free time to do all the things I wanted to do. Now none of it interests me anymore. And this has gone on for months now. I try some things, but I just don't care, or the interest fizzles out quickly. I know you love hiking and riding, so has this ever happened to you? And if so, how did you get past it? It has happened to me. It will happen to anyone who's independent-minded and actually goes and tries to live their life. And I got past it, but the problem keeps recurring. It's because it's a function of novelty. Nothing lasts forever. The first time you tasted ice cream, oh, wow, what was that like? I remember the first time I got a full can of Pepsi. Holy cow, was I living large. First time got to play the Atari 2600, right? But over time, everything, no matter how awesome it is, loses its novelty. So that's going to be one of the background things that you're facing. So you'll find something new, but it will lose its novelty. Like probably the peak of my motorcycle riding was riding out to Alaska and back. That was probably the peak. And now I'm like, ooh, it's only 65 degrees. That's going to be a pretty cool wind chill, Like, ooh, a 4-hour ride. That's going to be a long ride. My back is going to be sore. Although you put me out west and you'll see what happens. Right. But to do is how do you get past? So then I had a couple questions. I said, well, how old are you? Also, what do you do for hobbies and fun? Additionally, how long have you lived where you're currently living now? I don't mean your specific home. I mean the same area. Early 50s. Okay, this makes total sense. You've been living in Florida since 2003. Okay, so you've been there 18 years. That might be another thing to do is move. Just change it. Oh, gosh, I hate Minnesota so much. I want to so get out of here. Not only because of the people and the politics and the crime, and let's just burn down our buildings, but I'm so sick of this state. I've done everything that is worth doing in the state, and there's less and less things to do because companies keep closing down. Just move, go. When I go to Vegas, I'm immediately happier because I haven't been around. It's all new. I haven't tried that restaurant. I haven't hiked that mountain. I haven't ridden down that trail. And yeah, Orlando, fun as that town might be, unless you really like roller coasters, it's going to get tiring after 18 years. Anything will. Back before my personal interest disappeared, I would enjoy taking weekend road trips. But living on a thin peninsula like Florida, you run out of spots to a certain point. Yeah, you do have to hike a bit into the mainland a bit. I also used to enjoy metal detecting, but there are so many municipal rules about it now. It's kind of become a hassle. I even used to enjoy reading or just watching a movie. But now, for some reason, nothing clicks with me anymore. It's like I just stopped caring. If this had been going on for just a little while, I wouldn't mind it so much. But it's been several months now, and I have never been like this in my life. Like I said, it used to be I never had enough free time to do the things I wanted. Now my whole attitude is, man, not interested. Has this happened to you? Yes. It's been happening to me more or less for a decade, though not consistently. If so, I'm really curious how you resolved it. All right, so let's go through a couple of my notes here. All right, there are 4 forces at play. I don't mean to combine it into 4 forces. Porter's 5 forces model. But just so you know, these are things kind of outside of your control. And this is happening. You may not explain it 100%, but this is what's happening. All right, first, this uphill battle that novelty causes. I kind of touched on it already. Everything loses its novelty. Everything will get boring. I like to use my friend Sterling Cooper. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a couple books out. He's a porn star. You think he looks forward to having sex? It's a job. His job is having sex. And he's probably tired of it. You know, the most wonderful woman you love in the world after 20 years, like, get the F out of here, lady. I don't want to see your mug. I want to hang out with the guys. Doesn't matter how hot she is, you'll get sick of her. Same thing with women, I'm sure, with your a very, very attractive rich husband who farts a lot. Like, are you going to fart again? Right? So, and this is just a function of economics, where the most utility you get out of it is the first time, like, wow, this is new and exciting. And then there might even be an increase. Like you learn, like I do lapidary, cutting and polishing semi-precious stones. And like, oh, you get your craft and your home, you get related to it. And then it's like, after you've done it, like, I don't know, maybe because it doesn't stimulate your brain as much anymore. So there's nothing wrong with you. You're 50 years old, for God's sake. You've been on the planet half a century. Yes, things are going to not be novel. All those little kids that go to Disney World in Orlando, all those little kids, 3 and 4 years old, you watch them when they go up at Disney World. Oh, their eyes are wide and they're excited. Parents might be excited, but they've been there before. And they had their Mouseketeer days, you know, back when they were kids, back in the 80s or 70s or whatever. But that's just life. And so obviously this then necessitates trying new hobbies, trying to get something inspired new. And what you're going to find out, as you know, you're 50 years old, you've been on this planet, you've been in the same place for 18 years, things will wear thin. You'll try everything under the sun, even metal detecting. I got a metal detector too myself. I'm going to start doing it once I get a place to go metal detecting. But yeah, man, it's just, you got to keep infusing new things. That'll give you new novelty and a reason to get up in the morning. And it becomes a job. I'll tell you that. It's like, because what ends up happening, you have nothing exciting to look forward to or live forward to. And then you wake up like, another one of these days. Oh, I have to do my job. Yeah, I'm going to go to the same restaurant. Well, that kills the energy for you to try something new, because you're like, why bother? I'll just lose the novelty. And so whereas when you were young and had a lot of energy, and usually here's another thing that would compel men to go, there were girls. So a lot of these activities you'd have a vested interest in going, like ballroom dancing, obviously. A huge ulterior motive was to get the girls. But without that, you've been married. I mean, God almighty, take away your testosterone, take away girls from the equation. You really better have an intellectual interest. I mean, it takes a lot. That's another thing. Your testosterone's probably going down. Well, not probably it is because you're getting older. Maybe that's maybe that's a biological explanation. Maybe you should go look and see, get your T levels tested. But my larger point is the older you get, the less energy you got. For men, the less testosterone you got. You have less interest in women, and it almost becomes a chore and a job unto itself to find new hobbies. And that's what that's kind of where I'm at. Although I've decided to take my regular hobbies, just move and go out west, because now I'll be happier for quite some time, because there's a lot of places I haven't explored yet. Fossils I haven't found, agates I haven't unearthed. But yes, the battle against dwindling novelty is a continual and perpetual one. Sometimes you can postpone it a bit. Like when I did my exploration of the United States, I started when I was 30, and that provided about a decade worth of novelty and interesting things because it was all new. And now for the past 6 years, oh yeah, I know. I mean, I can't get lost in the United States. You could parachute me out somewhere blindfolded. I will know where I am in about a minute and a half. I'll look around. I'm like, yeah, I'm in Arizona. I think north, fair amount of trees up here. I'm probably up on the shelf. Probably on the shelf. There's no desert down here. A little sagebrush. So that's, one cause of your ennui, your lack of life anymore. Is you got to find, and it's hard, man. So if you feel tired, you feel it. Nope. Put together a schedule. Get out 3 times a week once the restrictions are lifted, and you go join a meetup group, and you go whatever it is. A perfect example, one of the more interesting ones was the Stoics meetup group. I used to go to in the Twin Cities, but now it's all online. It doesn't count. That doesn't count. But I enjoyed that the 3 times we got to go before the lockdowns came. Okay, force number 2. Kind of similar to your testosterone dropping and a lack of interest in women. And of course, there's less women on the market, especially at your age, unless you wanted to date younger. Your friends start to die off. And I don't mean they actually die off, though that unfortunately could happen. And it does happen. And I believe you get old enough. But they leave. As your friends, they don't want to go out. And this starts when you're about 30. You saw some inklings of it where your best buddy, Bob. Oh my God, Bob. Everyone loves Bob. But Bob was never really good with girls. And then once he got a taste of the pee, he would disappear because he was in love. And then, like, what happened to Bob? Bob, anyone get a call? Bob, is Bob dead? Did Bob get kidnapped? What happened to Bob? What about Bob? And then he comes back sheepishly after 2 years, after the girl finally dumps him. Hey, guys, what's up? Where have you been? Oh, I was in love. It broke up. Oh, so what are you guys doing now, huh? Can I use toilet paper again? So it starts then in their 20s. 30s, it really kicks in because that's when people are getting married. There's also other things happening. People move, as you're aware of. The people who went to college with are all over the planet probably by now. And so there's just no people. Your network is gone. Also, in being married, this is a huge thing for men. Wives do not like their husbands going out and having fun. Some of them can't wait. The healthy wives, like, get out of here. Go. Your buddy here. I got wine. I'm like, hey, you want to go to Vegas? She's like, get him out of here. Get him out. Just go away. And so that's healthy. That you like to see that. But that is the exception, not the rule. For every one of those wonderful women are like, you go play with Aaron. Get out of here. There's 9 like, Clary, you're gonna, and this is where you said you were gonna do X and you haven't done X yet. Now you're gonna go out with Clary. Me being the evil middle-aged Eddie Haskell, the bad influencer that I am. And the wives just won't let him go. And frankly, the potential once per 6 months bedroom fund that the wife will stingily peel out for her husband. Oh, and the threat of divorce and the children and all that, they will always choose the wife over you. Even though you're simply asking to rent the husband, her husband. Can I rent your husband for 2 hours? We go smoke a cigar. I don't know. The smell of those cigars gonna stink up the head. And so those guys are gone. Career's another thing. But then starting at 30 as well, people just get tired, man. People do not want to live like, and this it doesn't matter your politics or who you are or where you're from. People just get fat, old, and lazy. And they lose. See, at least you still got a spark for life. You want to solve this. You want to find something again. Most people are perfectly happy staying at home, watching the game of the pointy chair show, or the blue is the new black, or whatever worthless slop is on TV. They'd rather watch that. And every great once in a while, you'll see them. Every great once in a while. But that's another thing. And without people around, it's really hard to go out and be active. And so instead of trying to, the battery is dead. Stop trying to turn over that engine. You either need a new battery, a new set of friends, you go find some. And that's why I recommend is you go to a meetup group or whatever it is and find a hobby where people actively participate. Also, you got that. Third force. You would traditionally be having kids by now or be in the midst of raising them, although they might be on their way out. And this is another thing I think anyone over 30 has got to realize if you have this on way, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, well, what do I do? I'm lost in interest in life. Well, keep in mind the vast majority of us would have had kids by now under normal circumstances. Had we not had divorce come in and destroy the basically the trust in the institution of marriage, and then the family courts coming in and attaching huge financial risk. And you were divorced, but you didn't have any kids. Well, you're biologically 2 million years human evolution, you would have had some rugrats around, and these guys would have totally sucked up all your attention and certainly kept you busy. I watch my nieces, Lucifer and Geronimo, how busy they keep their parents. Their parents don't have time to have these esoteric existential questions. They're like, they just want a nap and a drink. I think that they're happier than punch when they get it. And they're just kind of like, hey, you want me to watch it? Here, go. I'm like, all right, give me the keys. We're out of here. They're more than happy. But it keeps your mind off these things. Well, without those kids to keep your mind and keep off of those things and to keep yourself occupied, both mentally and physically. Kids give you purpose and agency. They'll keep you entertained. It might drive you nuts, but they'll keep you entertained. And so keep in mind it's a trend. I wouldn't say a force, or it's an absence of force. This force used to be there, now it isn't. And your body is hardwired, your mind is hardwired anyway, to have children around and to want to raise them. And so that's another thing that's not going to change. It just explains that, hey, this is outside of your control and largely normal. And then force 4, although this is temporary and fleeting, is how we have the lockdowns due to the blessing that has been given to us. And our wise leaders have made it that we can't go and socialize. Like you can't even go to a bar in some places, and you have to wear things around your face. And so that will go away, and hopefully things like meetup groups and whatever else will open up again. But that's obviously a factor that is kind of making everybody be homebodies, whether they like to or not. So the solutions, okay, 1, force yourself to go. It's a job. You're gonna have to treat it like a job, man. It's like working out. You gotta do it even if you don't feel like it, and you feel a lot better. All right, but you got to force yourself to go out and find some new hobbies. You got to find whatever group that is, come up with a list, sit down, and stuff you may not have even thought. I never thought I would have liked ballroom dancing. I never thought I'd be an author. I never thought I'd be a motorcycle rider. Like that was like, what? So try things like you don't think you'd be good at. For example, I don't really have any desire to learn a musical instrument or to learn to cook. And given how I am so bad at guessing what I'm going to be good at or what I'm going to be horrible at, I'm probably going to be a world-class musician, and I'll make Gordon Ramsay look like a McDonald's fast order cook. I mean, just going based on how horrible it. Maybe I'd like it, but give it a shot. Try it. All right. So you got to sit. It's work. It's like these kids. What should I study? Well, have you sat down and thought about it? No. Well, okay, that'll be $200, please. Sit down and think about it. Okay. You got any ideas? That's another $200. So sit down. You know, what are some things you'd like to do? You know, even look up hobby lists or something like that. Heck, it's just like, what do you want? Here's another way to look at it, what your hobby should be. What do you want to do before you die? You got a bucket list? No, you're getting up there. You might as well start cracking in on it. So there's that. Another thing, exercise, specifically run or get your cardio in. That does wonders. And I've switched. I can't say I switched. I still do body workouts. But I've they usually say, well, don't run more than 2 miles, you know, a shot. And certainly don't do it more than twice, because your body needs that energy and food to build up its muscles. If you're trying to build muscle, I'm like, no, I went for a 7-mile walk, then a 6-mile walk, then a 3-mile run, 3 days in a row. Because that running and cardio just makes you feel a lot better. It could be a hobby unto itself. I always put it on my podcast and listen. You know, I was listening to Rollo Tomasi, him in Modern Life, John, where they had a good podcast. And I just binge on that, and I go for my walk. I go for a walk where it's a nice, pleasant, quiet place with a lake, and it's almost meditative. But that is going to help your brain release some endorphins. It's not a fun hobby. I mean, it's running. How fun can it be? Hiking is a completely different ball of wax, but you live in Florida, so there's no hiking down there. You hike around alligators. Oh, look out for the alligator. Let's go from this flat spot over here to this flat spot over here. Look, a tree. You go out west, hiking would be a different thing, or mountain climbing. Another hobby, although this is more to treat it. If you have not traveled, I recommend you start traveling. I got 10 years of novelty out of traveling. That's just the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And so I don't know if you want to rent a car or fly. I guess with Florida, you kind of got to fly because there's nothing on the east side. But have you hiked the Smoky Mountains? Have you been to Knoxville? Where have you hiked? You know, where have you traveled? Where have you gone? Where have you visited? And the United States is big. Like I said, it'll give you 10 years worth of stuff to go check out. Every major city, every minor city, national parks. Go to the national parks. Go hike around those. They're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you don't need a person to go with you. You're just like, I'm going to go do this. And you can do it. So there's that. Oh, one thing, if you're in Florida, I forgot to mention, hobbies you might want to look into. Smoking cigars and salsa dancing. Because the environment is perfect for it down in your neck of the woods. Another thing you look at is joining a fraternal order. You're the ideal age. Well, they usually want them younger because, like, they need to find new young blood. How do we get young people in here? I'm like, how about you stop being so stodgy and old? How about that? But I looked into, like, the Eagles, the Masons, the International Order of Odd Fellows. I don't know if it's really for me. It just looks like a drinking club. And the Masons they're not weird. It's just a lot of this thing, a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Objects, but there's a religious connotation. It's not a religion. It's what are the Catholics? They always go and they baptize something. Relics, a lot of relics, a lot of items. Well, this statue represents this thing and it faces north. It's just like, guys, look, can we just help kids with cancer? Can we just do whatever it is we do? I don't want to, with the weird stuff going on. Nice people, but it's just a bowling league I would throw in there. But, maybe look into those fraternal orders or something like that. And then finally, it's also accept reality. That's the first step for everything. Accept that you're going to lose interest in everything as you get older. And so no matter what it is with these items I've given you to do, or, you spend at least an hour trying to find a hobby, you try hobbies you don't think you're going to like. right? You pick up motorcycle riding for whatever. Try that. Ride a scooter around a little. Go get yourself a scooter. See if you like it. I kind of like this. Maybe I should upgrade. Go on the interstate. But no matter what it is, you will lose interest in it over time. And then when you consider these other forces, your age, how long you've been on the planet, how you've tried a lot of things, your friends are no longer around, your friends are dying off metaphorically and sometimes literally, you don't have a family, and we're under lockdown. Just realize this is not like I found my passion, that's it. Because I'll tell you, I'll find a good-looking redhead who is well endowed by the Lord. I will get sick of her in about 3 months. I'm like, okay, you got to leave now. Okay, I don't care. What I want most is you not around. That's what I want most. So there you go. So there's no cure. There's only treatment. It's a job, and it's incumbent upon you. I mean, you might want to read Dennis Prager's book. I think Happiness is a Mental Disorder or something or Happiness is Serious Business, because you owe it to yourself for the remaining 25 years of your life to be as happy as you possibly can. And that takes work finding out what you want to do. Take some strategic plan. Take some experimentation. It's not like, go to a movie. Gosh, there's a perfect, you could not, unless Die Hard was showing in the theaters, I'm probably never going to go to a movie theater ever again, because it doesn't interest me. Movies suck too, but you're going to have to put yourself out there, because there's nothing worse than staying at home and moping. So I'll give you another example. I've been touring supper clubs. You got to eat. You kill two birds with one stone. And some of them are quaint. Some of them are old fashioned. Some of them aren't all that great. But it's like, supper club. I've never been here before. I got a couple, friend. God, they're so bored. They want to go to every presidential library. It's like, what? If they're happy about it, okay, fine. You can't judge them. Whatever makes them, for whatever reason, they want to go to every presidential library. I'm like, I'd like to hit every national park. But if you want to hit every national presidential library, certainly go ahead. They had fun. All right, let's get to the super chats, if there are any. Cabergoon Cabulous for $5. By God, I'm getting the same sentiment. And what I'm interested in is somewhat unattainable, which increases its sanity. Is great, but it's not easy. Yeah, philosophy is another, for the client, philosophy is another thing you start digging your teeth into. The Stoics, Jordan Peterson, Stefan Molyneux. That'll keep your mind occupied, give it something to chew on for a while. And another thing about attainability is like the things that are left on this planet that I want to do really require a lot of money. Like I want to fly a MiG-29 Fulcrum. That's not going to be cheap. Plus I'd have to learn how to fly it. Like I want to tour the world, on a yacht. Well, not a yacht, a sailboat. I don't really want to sail. Maybe I love sailing. You never know. But it's kind of like, well, can I command a carrier group and invade a small third world country? Huh? That'd be fun, huh? How much does that cost? I guess I'll just play with my G.I. Joe figures. Taiwan Do for €2. Victory has defeated you. Peace costs you your strength. Yes, victory has defeated you. Yep. Just so you all know, there's no celebration, there's no parade, and there's no finish line when you win at life. You don't even know when you won at life. It's just also you sit there like, did I win at life? It's like, yeah, 6 months ago when you passed the finish line, but the finish line is not demarcated and there's not cheerleaders. It's everyone throwing you a ticker tape parade. You paid off your house. You did this right. You did that right. You didn't screw up. You didn't bring any kids into the world that you didn't want to raise. You won. And that's not like, yes, Zero Genesis, 10 Canadian dollars, lost interest in the Girlsa after buying my girlfriend out of the house we owned. It's mine now, but I have no desire in dating or picking up. Right, you've dated them. You know what it's like. You've peered behind the curtain. The veneer and the mystery is gone. It's like, oh, okay. No, this is quite all right. No, I have had my fair share. I want the younger men to have an opportunity. Here you go, guys. Have fun. Don't buy this book. Even the bedroom fun isn't enticing anymore. 32 years old. Yeah, well, you're also getting older. Your testosterone. You're not 18 anymore. Keep scrolling down. Atham for 99 cents. We got a super sticker there. I don't know what it is. Scrolling. A lot of people on the chat room today. Swallow Blue for $2. It's depressing when one's own family is unreliable. Yeah, Swallow. I've already told you, man. You got to get out of there. Join the military. Get out of there. You don't know what you're doing, and which is good. The fact you don't know what you want to major in, that's good. Stop going to college then and get your ear into the military. Oh my gosh, Atham, you found your wallet. What's going on? What, $5? My dreams was to go whale watching in California. So I went to my local Walmart and saw a bunch of them. Life is wonderful. I'm going to Monterey next. Monterey, California or Monterey, Mexico? Which one you going? A buddy of mine went to Monterey, Mexico and saw a bullfight. I thought that was pretty cool. You caught up? Are we caught up? There's Taboo Smash $3. You could try skydiving if you're bored. Yeah, there you go. Try skydiving. All right, that's it. Okay, questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. We'll see you guys later too.